All right, we are live and looks like my volume is doing good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DC Fine Art. We are doing a live chat and we are working on part 3 for this color pencil piece. So we are actually doing the purse, and what we were working on last time was just doing basically it had the leather strip in the center, leather strip around the outside, and we were working on the inside, and I said that I was going to get that all done as far as like not doing the whole thing, but like we were doing like a first and second layer on it, and I did the top. Well, I was going to go ahead and finish that part and then show you the next step that I was going to do. So I have got that done. I am up to another stage to where we're going to work on that some more. So that way I can get kind of the look that I'm wanting on this little purse of mine. So, yeah, and then also, I guess I should remember trying to think of all the things that's going on this week as far as like Patreon and everything else. I haven't been too for sure on what I'm gonna do for Fridays. Usually I do like a Friday video. If it's not on a Friday, it'll be on a Saturday, just depending on how things go. And I know things have been getting really busy, especially going into the new school year with my daughter. So a lot of things been going on there, but I was actually thinking about working on a soft pastel piece for you guys, or just doing something small. Now that will be on Patreon. As far as Fridays, it could be just like a kind of like a speed up of it, and kind of showing you some things on that. Maybe working on like maybe pastel matte, and just kind of going over maybe some tips for that soft pastel piece that I'm doing. It'll just be a small one. And then over on Patreon, it'll be like a slower lesson for you guys on that piece. So that's kind of like the things that I've been going on. As you can tell, I don't know if you guys can tell, I did some rearranging. So my art studio looks a little bit different. As you can tell in the back, there is a humongous tank back there. That is Stella. So my little studio assistant is in here. And also Pebbles. She's actually, I probably can turn this. Let me turn it for you guys just a little bit. Yeah. So Pebbles is the small. She's like a winter white dwarf hamster. She's actually in that smaller tank, which I'm actually gonna have to get a little bit bigger for her. And then I've got the really big one tank sitting over there. It's like a big 75-gallon tank, and that's got Stella in it. So she might end up coming out. She might even come out here in a little bit. Sometimes she just comes out of her home. She does have her little house in the back. You can see the little hole back there. She does come out, so maybe she might say hi to us maybe later. I don't know. She may be still sleeping, but with me talking, she might come out. So we'll just see if she wants to say hi to you, or if she just wants to say hidden. Okay, so I think I got that back. Let's go ahead and turn this around, and I will show you where we left off, and we'll continue on. I do have glassine over this. Let me see here. There we go. All right, so we got this turned around. As you can see, I got my glassine. I usually put this over the top of my drawing to protect it, so there ain't a whole bunch of dust getting on it, or maybe like I lay stuff, like I like to lay things on top of my drawings sometimes, and I don't want it to get dirty. Just like I put these on here. And this here, I know I got 2 bottles of them, and the only reason why I have these out is because one of them I took the label off. I don't know why I took the label off. Maybe it got a little loose and I just peeled it off, but I kept one that I haven't used yet, just so that way you can see. It is the brush and pencil, color pencil touch-up texture. Now, I most likely will be having to use this, and the reason why is because of the paper that I chose. I'm able to put down, at least in my calculation, it may be more, depending on how you count how many layers of color pencil you put down. I usually put several layers down, then I blend, and then I call it one, when technically it's probably more layers than one. But I've gotten up to at least 2 layers, if not 3, and it gets pretty finicky on trying to lay down another layer of color pencil. So this is why this stuff here comes in handy. So we may end up needing to use this, but I just wanted to show you, I'm going to use this one here. It's the same thing. It's just one label is missing because little old me likes to peel things off bottles, but I just wanted to let you know it's the same thing. Okay. So, and I do have a sheet of paper here. We're going to be picking out pencils in order to do the next little things that's on here, like these little metal rivets or metal little designs that they got in here. And so I'm going to be choosing colors for that. So lots of things going on. So I can kind of show you how I choose my colors, how I kind of lay them down before I start a color pencil piece. Or at least I've already started this one, but before moving on to the next one, I'm just gonna throw that down. Figured Stella would probably wake up and be like, "What are you doing out here crunkling? Is that my treats?" Okay, so, and I have a little hand rest that I usually put over the top of that, but I've kind of switched it up and been using my glove a little bit more just because how the camera is set up and me trying to film and then having to drag that up and down. Plus that it's not really that big. It's actually probably fits this paper just like this, but if I try turning it at an angle, I could end up scraping the side of my drawing with it. And I don't want to leave no marks since this is white and I wanted to leave it white. So that's the reason why I haven't really been going back to my little hand rest. But they do have bigger ones of those little hand rests that are a lot bigger. And if you have one of those, probably would work out a whole lot better for that way you can turn it and not scrape the paper. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my pencil here. And this one here that I'm using is the Derwent Drawing Chinese White. Now it is a super, I mean, it's getting short, but it is a lot softer of a lead than most of the pencils here. And by using a softer pencil like this, I'm able to get more of the color pencil on my paper. But the other thing is, it's because of it being so soft of a pencil, you can't get as sharp of a point like you can with this. If you do get it really sharp, then when you go to use it, it's going to break just because of how soft the lead is. So just keep that in mind, and it does happen. So basically all I was going to do is just come through here and kind of put some little bitty white marks on this. And if I'm wanting it to be like a little bit brighter, then I can use some of my touch-up texture. So we're just going to go with it right now. It's like barely showing up. I mean, it's still showing up, but it's not like showing up like in your face showing up white. Some of these areas where I got a little bit thicker on the color pencil, it may not show up as well. Which in that case, we can always put some of the touch-up texture in, just so that way we're getting a little bit more pigment or the color pencil laid down a little bit brighter. So I'm just kind of sticking these in here. They're just random. Let me kind of make my way on down. Come back up. So I hope everybody's been having a nice week so far. It's been super hot over here, and it actually started raining. And then I was in the middle of putting up a volleyball net, like one of those little portable ones. It's not like an actual like volleyball like court stay in the ground permanent, but it is a little volleyball net that my daughter can practice on for volleyball. So I was putting that up for her today. And boy, was that fun. It was super hot, super humid. Oh my goodness. It was something else. So hopefully you guys can see this okay as I'm putting in all these little texture marks in here. And I'm just making like little dots, little dashes, should I say? Because it's kind of like with the painting, you know, it's like, you know, with like any kind of acrylic or oil painting, you see it up close and it may look a little funny. You know, it may look a little weird when you look at it up close. But it's whenever you stand back and you look at your painting or you look at your drawing at a distance, and you know, it looks a lot more, it looks a lot more realistic, or it looks a lot better because you're standing away from it. You want to stand back and look at it. So it's kind of like my painting that I did with the I did the Christmas one, and I did like this little bitty bell. Like that's what I can really think of. I did this little bell on a acrylic painting for Christmas, and the little bell, when you look at it up close, it looked really weird. Like the colors and everything looked really weird. It looked really swirly. It didn't look very realistic. But when you take a step back away from it, excuse me, when you take a step back and away from it and look at it from back a distance, it was like, oh my gosh, it looks so realistic. It's crazy. It like looks super realistic. Like it looks like a real bell. But then whenever you get up close to it, it looks like little swirls or little different colors, and you can kind of see that it's not, it's a little different whenever you stand up close. You're like, huh, didn't know you can do that. Make a bunch of swirls, and when you stand away from it, it looks realistic. Like, oh, I can make a bunch of swirls. But I will keep an eye out for little Stella in case she comes out. Now Pebbles, she is still new. So we are still kind of, and a baby. And so we're still working with her. My daughter is able to pick her up. Like she picks her up, but then she doesn't take her out of the little cage yet, or the little tank yet. She just like picks her up and then just sets her down so that way she can get used to being picked up. And she does really good. She's actually a good little girl. Whenever we first got her, she would scream. And we don't mean to make her scream. I mean, it's something that you just don't want to do is make her scream, but she had to get her tank cleaned out and had to get her home cleaned. And as soon as you would clean her home, she would literally, everywhere that you try to remove the stuffing, like her little bedding, she would run over to where you're trying to grab her bedding, and then you would grab it and lift it up, and she would just like be right there. She'll go right to it, and then she would roll over on her back and put all little four legs in there and just scream like, ah, like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're being fussy. So then I'd go to the other side of the tank and try and lift up and take some of the dirty bedding out, and then she'd run over there and just scream. It's like, I'm sorry, you have to get your bedding cleaned. So now she's gotten a lot better. I've actually got it to where I take her out of the tank, and then and I do have like, and I know it's not good, you know, to use, because it can hurt her. But there is like, I get one of those little balls, like those little hamster balls, but those are really super dangerous because if you let them roll around in a ball, they could easily get their foot like caught in one of their little holes or those little slots, and it could seriously injure your little hamster. So got one, but I'm able to like put her in it so that way I can put a lid on it and screw it. And I set it inside of a bowl, and inside of her little bowl, I put stuffing and I put some little snacks. So she's got snacks and little bedding in there, and then I can clean out her whole tank, and she doesn't roll around and get hurt because the ball's inside of a bowl and won't roll. So she actually sits in a bunch of stuffing and snacks until I can get her little tank cleaned out, and we just go from there. And she's getting used to being lifted out with the ball, so that's probably why too, that she's getting used to everything. This is very time consuming, but it's just worth it because I think it just adds that nice texture effect to it, and it gives it a little bit more like thread or material mesh like look, like material kind of look to it. Gives it its own little design too. And I really do like it, so. But I'm just making a bunch of these little marks going through. And if you're wondering about how hard I'm pushing to make these marks, I am pushing down a little bit harder than I normally do. It's almost like a burnish, like burnishing, pushing hard, but not to the point where I'm going to make it big indentation. But I am pushing down a little harder. That way I can get these little dashes in there and it can show up a little bit, because I'm not really expecting to layer any more on this. Unless I'm making like a shadow, I might go in there and darken it, maybe, if needed. But for the most part, I just really want those little dashes to just kind of show up. Now, if I was using any other white, it probably wouldn't show up as good. Like this one here, it's still showing up. It's not like in your face white, but that's okay. Like it's showing up just the right amount that I am happy with it. I don't want it too white. Let's go in here and add some more of these little dashes. Okay. And then once we get done with this, we're going to move on to doing the little rivets that I had put in the purse. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Let me sharpen this just a little bit more. And if you like this video, please leave a like. Definitely helps the channel, so definitely want to remind you guys, just in case maybe you forgot, to click that like. Definitely need to grow. And we're getting there. We are definitely slowly but surely getting there. I was like thinking, Okay, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'd really want to go ahead and do like some sort of like giveaway because I think that would be super, super cool. Do like a small little giveaway or just like give away like a little gift. Do something fun. I think that would be a good celebration. Like, do something special. I want to do something special for you guys. Okay, and then let's go ahead and keep going with these little. I'm gonna kind of stay away from the shadow a little bit. There we go. Got a little bit of my pencil breaking there a little bit, but that's okay. Just because it's a soft pencil, I got it sharpened. Kind of sharp for it, for this type of pencil. Okay, let's go ahead and make our way around here. And then we're going to continue on down here. Just working in little dashes. Yeah, I was thinking at first that it wouldn't show up like hardly at all, but it's actually doing pretty good for what I'm wanting, because I don't want it too white. And we almost made our way all the way around this. We're getting close. Actually, really probably need a pencil, like an extender here. So it's starting to get a little bit too short for me. So let's put the a pencil extender. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Pencil extension. There we go. I am so bad. I am bad at words. So sorry. So sorry, you guys. Sometimes I can really get them messed up, and I'm like, Yeah, I think it would be fun doing a soft pastel piece for you guys, or at least, doing something like little tips or just kind of showing you um, a soft pastel. It won't be on a live if we're doing the color pencil, which is kind of nice because I've been doing a lot of acrylic painting on the live, so kind of switching it up and doing some color pencil is actually really refreshing. Like, I love color pencils. Like, I really, really do. I mean, you can learn so much from doing color pencils, and they're just a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with these. I like acrylic painting though too. At first it was like, I when I first started out painting, I was like probably like everybody, like wanting to start out, wanting to learn. I would go to like Bob Ross paintings and try and learn how to oil paint like Bob Ross, do wet on wet. And I started to get it and I was like, well, it's looking pretty good. I was always proud, but always be proud of what you do. I mean, no matter what, always be proud of what you do. And every single time that you paint or if you draw or any of that, you're just going to get better with each time you do it. And if you guys have good friends, which hopefully you do, that always adds encouragement saying, well, look at how great you do. Which, by the way, I do have the Facebook artist group. The link is in the description below. If you guys want to join that, you can always share your artwork on that Facebook artist group because I will usually always see it. And it's a good way to kind of show somebody, how tongue twisted. It's a good way to show your artwork to somebody so that way you can kind of get that feedback, get those words of encouragement, get those wow, that looks great, so that way you can keep pushing yourself to keep working. Sometimes we need a little motivation, and whenever I was doing my artwork, I posted my stuff on like Facebook or some other groups that I was in, and I was like getting some feedback like, yay, that looks good. And it made me feel good. I mean, now that I look back on it, I'm like, I know I'm doing better now than I was then, but thank goodness people were like, yay, you're doing such a good job because, I'm glad I didn't stop. I'm glad I just kept going. And with those words of encouragement and happiness and joy, it really pushed me to keep going. And I ended up striving to do better. And I did do a lot better. I'm still getting better. Hey, how are you? Elisa, real, I love it. Oh, thank you so much. Well, I'm glad you came back for a live. At least you made it for a live, came back for a live. Uh, my words have been horrible today, so I'm glad you're here. I haven't seen you in forever. I get excited. It's been really a busy time. I know it has. Summer's usually always busy. I know with my daughter, I have to do the volleyball practices and then she'll be going to school here soon, so it'll be running all over the place. All right, I think I got enough texture on here. I think that looks pretty good for now. Let's see here. I'm finding you. Oh, I'm doing good. Been busy. So yeah. Trying to see if I can see what you guys see. Make sure you guys are seeing this right. For some reason, my computer, and I've noticed that it's always, I thought it was always me, but my computer likes to, if the room is like darker, it likes to darken your screen. And so if the room is brighter, it brightens your screen. So I'm like, is my painting or my drawing really look that dark? But it's not. It's my computer. It's me. All right. So see here. I think we pretty much got as much as I want in here because I don't want to overdo it. But I do like the way this looks, and I like that I added texture to this. So adding the white definitely gave it the texture it needs. And I do like that. So, all right, so I think we're going to go ahead and move on. And what we're going to be doing is working on these little, they're like little pins or little decorations, little pin decorations. So I'm going to take that extension off because I may need it for something else. I don't know. Maybe I should just leave it on because I'm going to use this pencil more. I'm silly. Leave it on. Take it off. Maybe you have to turn off the autocorrect. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I bet there's a button in there for it. It's probably underneath settings somewhere, but I have not seen that. I don't even know what it would be called. Like, I don't know if it's like screen dimmer. I don't know. I am not computer savvy. Like, I'm lucky to be able to figure out how to do like work the OBS like we're working right now with the live streams and everything else. I've been learning. I've been learning, but it's just I'm very slow when it comes to computer stuff. Ugh, I wish I was more talented. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep, let's see here, because we still gotta do pink around the zipper, and then it's gonna be gold for the top. So I don't really want to work on the zipper just yet. Like, that's gonna be later. Let's just stick these pencils somewhere safe. Safe meaning I'll probably never find them. Yeah, I don't see Stella awake. I keep on checking to see if little Stella's gonna show up. My little hamster's in with me. Okay, so we are gonna look at these little pins, and they are more of a really dark gray. Here, I'll show you them. They're like that, like dark gray. We got a silvery kind of color, kind of an antique color, which, I mean, I don't really have to do antique. I could do the little silver one, but they're more of a darker kind of gray. I do see black in it, so we are going to go with black. Oh, let's see here. My eyesight's so bad. Drawing color. Let's do Light Fast. I don't want to put no nightshade in it. That's more of a purpley kind of color. And I don't really want purpley, but Midnight Black is good for really, really dark. It's a blue and black mixture, so it's really nice. Kind of gives it more depth and makes it even more dark. Now here's black, but I don't really need that. I want the Midnight Black. Okay, we'll keep Midnight Black, and then we need grays. Go with my polychromos. And since we're working with metal, I don't usually like to go with a warm gray when it comes to metal. Usually I like to go with more of a cold gray for metals. And see, these are warm grays, warm grays, warm grays. Ivory, don't need it. Warm gray, warm gray. So I was working on the red panda, so I had a lot of my, that's black. It is. So I had a lot of my warm grays pulled out. Here's a cold gray. So we get a cold gray there. And these cold grays in polychromos go from basically a light cold gray to a dark cold gray. And they're listed off in numeral order, like numbers, numerals. This is a Payne's gray, so it's got a little bit more of a bluish tone to it. We might actually keep that because I do like Payne's gray. Cold gray. I just want to make sure I got all my cold grays. Now, I probably will not use every single cold gray that I just pulled out, which are basically, this is all the cold grays and the polychromos. That's quite a bit of grays that I most likely will not be using. But I do like my Payne's gray. Let me see here. I can't use my OBS for recording or doing lives until I upgrade my computer. Oh no. Yeah, the OBS likes to take a lot of the upload speed too. Like I had to boost my upload speed in order to use the OBS and live streaming because it brought everything, like it brings it down. And so I had issues with it that I literally had to go back and forth with the internet company, and I had a computer tech come in. That's how come I was able to figure that one out. It wasn't my computer, it was actually the or the internet. And we finally got that taken care of, but it's still really questionable. Like this morning, my internet went completely out and I had to call again. So I understand that. I understand the computer stuff. Like, and then my son, he's got a computer and he keeps on telling me that his is so much better than mine. Why don't I go to his? And I'm like, because, whenever I was working and I would save up all my money for this computer. So it's like I really worked my butt off to get this computer. It's good. I'm not gonna go get another computer. Saved up. I mean, eventually I know it's going to come down. I probably will have to get another computer eventually. I mean, computers don't last forever, but I'm dreading that part. Okay, I'm just going to sharpen these on up just to make sure they are ready to go. They don't need much sharpening, so try to see. Let's get the Payne's gray. Yeah, that's already sharpened. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that's supposed to be a little star. I don't know why I got that thing shaped a little funny. Oh. Gotta love how I draw things. Okay, so let's go ahead and try. I do not know what I was thinking when I was doing this. That's a point. The point here is missing. So, I don't want to use that. Let's use the perfection eraser. Now I like this eraser because I can erase more defined, smaller areas with it. Because you can sharpen it like a pencil. Super nice. Okay. Let's see here. Gonna make sure this is drawn out right, because when I drew it out, wasn't really thinking too much. Now it's not gonna erase it, like completely turn it back to white, but what it does is when you erase it, it does give you a little bit more tooth back to your paper by getting some of that pigment off to where I can adjust this. Okay. That's probably a little better. It was supposed to be a star, and for some reason I made it into like a circle. So I'm going to put some light gray in there. Probably gonna do white. And then I'll just move on down. Let's see here. We got some creases here. They all seem to go right back to the center. This is a whole lot darker. Let's go to the Payne's gray. Go. right along the edge of this. I think I got that. At least it'll be close enough. Okay, actually, let me get this. I don't usually like to go that dark real quick. Let's see here. I recommend getting a hard drive with 1 terabyte of memory at the very least. Get the computer custom made. Yes, in full tower. Doing this will save you money in the end. Hey, hey, Heisty, how are you? Oh, you're perfectly fine. Didn't miss too much. And yeah, the computer that I got is a 1 terabyte. And whenever I did get it, I actually ordered it and it came from like Scotland or Ireland or so. I think it was Ireland or something like that. So it was actually shipped over here. And use the hard drive in full tower, saving you money. Now, I didn't have the tower because I have an Apple, so it's like just the just the screen. So it's not like it didn't come with that tower. The tower is like built into the actual monitor. So it's like all one. It's really nice because I could just unplug one thing and move it. But yeah, it's an Apple, which my son's just like, uh-huh, you bought an Apple, it's gonna have all kinds of problems. And I'm like, oh boy, you know, eh, it's what I wanted. My son, my son and everybody's like a Samsung type of people, type of people in my family. And I'm the Apple. It's like I have to be the one that's different. Okay. I was like, it'll be all right. I'm different. And then my son, I've got the best thing ever. And I'm like, I'm not having too much trouble if it wasn't for the internet. But yeah, I did definitely got the 1 terabyte on it whenever I got it. Sorry if I leave randomly. I need to take, aw, my puppy had 2 surgeries today. I'm so sorry. Aw, well, I hope your puppy gets to feeling better. That's so sad. I wonder if Stella's out. No, I don't see Stella out. She'd be pawing at the glass right now. She's still sleeping. Aw. Well, hopefully your puppy gets to feeling better. Poor baby. Yeah, I can't really have I mean, I guess I could have like a little. I like always wanted like a little puppy, but um, I don't have the room for one right now. Like, and then everybody's like, "Why didn't you get a cat?" I'm like, "Cause it'll eat my hamster." Let's see, I like Apple, but I don't like being dependent on them. I have an iPhone, and I will get an Apple tablet at the most. Yes, they come in handy. They really, really do. I have an iPhone too. I like Apple. Okay, so yeah, get well soon, puppy. Aw. Poor baby. Now I revert back to little puppy. Poor baby. Yeah, I got the Apple, or of course you guys seen it. I have the Apple tablet, and I use that as just doing looking at my reference photo through it, and then I have my Apple phone, and then yeah, and so they all kind of combine. They all sync with each other. So I'm like, it makes the world happy, and my son's like, no. I don't care. I'll be the rebel of the family, so it'll be okay. Then I got my daughter um a Samsung. Because that's what she's always been used to. I always used to give her a Samsung, and then now she's like, I wish I had an Apple. I'm like, well, you got a Samsung, so be happy. It's like I can't go switching. What do I film on? This on live streams, I film on OBS, and on my actual videos that I do, I actually use my phone because the phone has quite a bit of storage on it, but I don't store like every single one of my videos. I do delete them so that way I don't use up all the space on my phone, but I record off my phone. And I got like two, I don't know if it's 1 terabyte on my phone or if it's like 2 terabytes. I don't know on the storage of it. But I use my phone and then I use I think it's called Filmora, 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 and it's a video editor. That's like I use that, just something simple. I have, yeah, you're fine. I have an Apple. I have an Apple. Hold on. I have to find out what I have. I don't remember. Because I did have an Apple. I don't even remember. The other one, I don't think this is it. But I was recording off of this Apple. And then I ended up switching it out because I accidentally broke mine. It's all shattered. And got this one. And it is a, wait, does it say my phone? Oh, I have 2 terabytes, I think, of storage. I thought there was a thing that says my phone. Maybe it's general. Hmm. About. Hold on. I'll get to it. I know I will. iPhone 13 Pro Max. That's what I got. I have a 13 mini only because I don't like how big the other phones are. Oh yeah. It's probably like the size of this one. Nah, I don't know. This one. Yeah, because this one here is the Pro Max. And then this is, I don't know. Yeah, it like fits in there. I don't know. Maybe this one is kind of bigger. I don't know what this one is. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was like under this one, of course, but it was close to it. I don't know if it was like one off or two off maybe on it. I can't remember. But yeah, that's what I've got. And I'm the only one in my family. Everybody else is Samsung people, so the only thing I can say is that um I think you know how there's always like people like, oh, I'm Samsung only and Apple is not good, and then people say, well, Apple's not good and Samsung's great. I don't know. They go back and forth. I'm like, it's okay because in my family, it's like we got both. It's like there's, well, actually, it's just me. Yeah, it's okay. I did it. You can just blame me. She's the one. Now this didn't show up as white as what I was wanting, so I may end up going back in. We're just working on this star. Just kind of gradually making it darker in some areas as we go. May have to come back in with some black and make it even darker. Let's see here. Really like Samsung. It just seems complicated to me. Yeah. I had a Samsung and I used it, and then every time I've used it, it's like I have always never had good luck. Like I've always had it crash, and it would be like not enough storage space or something would happen to it all the time. And so it just got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I originally, a long time ago, started out with Apple, and I'm going to go back to Apple. So I started using Apple again, and then just kind of it felt weird whenever I used it. I was like, okay, this is really weird. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and I had my doubts. But then after I got used to it, I didn't really have too much of an issue. Ooh, I like that. That's coming along really good. I like that. Let's see here. That's okay. Aw, yes, you could do this. Don't ever say that. Oh, happy. You can do it. I know you can do it. Oh, welcome back to the Apple Club. I love it. Welcome back to the Apple Club. I'm not aptly enough for the Apple Club. I don't know, that reminds me of the Turtle Club. Now you got me thinking of that movie. It was called the Master of Disguise. And he dressed up like a turtle and he goes, am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? And he'd go, turtle, turtle. Like make me feel like I need apple, apple. All right, so I like the way this looks. That we are probably going to keep it, but I don't know. I'd really like to have a really bright highlight in here. So we might end up, why not? Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't like it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that little pendant right there. It's a little star pendant. We'll just keep that. It seems fun to watch. Yeah, it's really stupid. It's a stupid movie because it's so funny. It's funny. It's called The Master of Disguise, and this guy dresses up in all different types of ways and tries to be really sneaky. And yeah, he went to a turtle club, and it was like he was supposed to disguise himself to get into this really ritzy place with all these people, and they were having like they dressed up in suits, and it was supposed to be really fancy, and it was the Turtle Club, and for some reason he thought he could fit into the Turtle Club. He'd never been to the Turtle Club, and when he went in, he dressed up like a flippin' turtle. He had a shell, and he even put like a bald head on him, and he even had like a little beak, like his mouth was like punched out like a little beak, and so he looked he looked like a turtle going into a very ritzy place with a bunch of suit and ties, and there he is in a turtle. He's a turtle. So I don't know. It's a comical movie. Probably nowadays, I don't know. It's an older movie, but I don't know. I really did like it. It was funny. All right. Usually I always erase these lines on like around the outside, but on this one here, since I'm working with gray tones, or at least cold gray, and the graphite is, it's still cold gray, I'm just gonna leave that graphite on there. I'm not really gonna move it. I don't think I'm gonna really gonna matter much if my pencil doesn't cover up the lead, because it's like the same color, similar color to what I'm using, so I'm not really too worried about it. So I will not be erasing the graphite lines on this part here. Okay, let's try and make this as similar as we can. So I'm going to try drawing in some of these areas. Okay. This side here. Let me get this a little skidded up so I can see my reference photo. We're going to go on that side. And then we have some dark, like right in there. Mine's a little bit smaller. Let me take this a shade lighter. It's not too bad. I really think that there needs to be white there. By the way, her hair is so pretty. Oh, thank you so much. Her hair is always so pretty, and mine looked like a rat's nest. Hey, earlier today, mine looked like a rat's nest too. I haven't done my hair in forever, by the way. Um, I really would like to do it, but I haven't. It's like I wanted it to grow out, and as you can tell, like, see where it's like dark and then goes to like these highlights? That's literally how long it's been since I had my hair done. Like, probably to here. My hair was literally that short. I can attach it up here, so it's literally that short. But I just let it grow out, and maybe eventually I will. Right now, I got like a two-tone color, like it's growing out like dark, and then I've got like where these lights, where I had it highlight are kind of growing out down further, which actually looks, it doesn't look too bad. But then I got this grays that are coming in, and the grays are, I have a strip of gray that was like in here, and it literally went into a highlight, like from my head going gray and then going strictly into a highlight. I was like, oh wow, I got like natural stripes going on. So, but I haven't done my hair in forever. I used to do my hair back a long while ago. I used to do my hair like every, well, I don't think it wasn't every 2 months, but it was like every 3 months, 2 months, and then sometimes I'd wait and it'd be like every 4 months. I would go and get my hair done all the time. But that was back in the time when, my hairdresser that I used to go to, it was like super, super cheap to get it done. And then it kind of went up a little bit. And I can't blame her because, I mean, she is definitely doing a whole lot better. It's got a new place and everything, super nice. But in this time, it's like, I can't really do it. Can't really do it. It's just too much. The price went up like, I don't know if it was like 2 times the amount. So I was like, yeah. But no doubt she was like amazing. Amazing. And she was an amazing person too. She was super, super sweet. Like, absolutely love her. Maybe I will be able to get my hair done again, but at this time, not yet. But yeah. But mine was definitely in the heat putting up a volleyball net today, and it got hot. Really, really hot. So my hair was not in the best of shape today. So I used to always make my mom laugh, like whenever I used to be like, she'd be like, wow, your hair looks so pretty today. And I would tell her, I'd be like, yay, that's because I washed it. And then she goes, really? Like, I thought it was funny. I was like, haha, no, thanks. I always used to like to make up jokes like that. Like, maybe it's because yeah, thank you. It's because I washed it. Then I started saying that, and then she started saying that whenever I say, "Oh, look at your hair, it looks so nice today." And she goes, "Thank you. I just washed it." It's like, okay. Since saying that, Mom. So it's kind of funny. Okay, I'm gonna start getting some of this out here. May have went over just a little bit. I didn't like doing that. Okay, we're just kind of getting some of these grays in here. There's a little bit of a, actually this comes up. This goes up like that, and then it turns a little bit lighter. So maybe I should have kind of corrected that a little bit here. Hold on. Right in there. Oops, what am I doing? Pencil over here, Deborah. Okay, let's try and there we go, that's better. Use some light grays. And this is going to kind of wrap around. Maybe a little bit darker. Can't really see what I'm working with here. Always grab a lighter color, and then as I go, if it looks like it's not dark enough, you can always darken it. Okay, and then we are going to use a mid-tone here. And yeah, we'll stop in there. Actually, we could put in the lines with this color. It's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, let's go make a little bit of a bend and then come out. Make a little bit of a bend and come out. And then right in here, we need to go straight. Okay, let's get a little bit darker. I'm going to put that right over the top of it. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I'm going to make that. I'll probably have to make these darker than this too. So we may end up going back over this again with a darker color. There's a little gnat. It just flew by. It was like, hey, what's up? Okay. Now in on this area too, it's a little bit darker here. This is kind of the same. A little bit dark in that area. Let's make, I said I wanted to make those little lines a little bit darker, so we're going to come in here and a little bit thicker. And I'm going to use that midnight black to just kind of go over it, and if I make it a little bit thicker, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, we're trying to get close. We don't have to be perfect though. We don't have to be perfect. Just put some little there. And then right in here, I want to kind of connect some of this dark, because this is supposed to be a little bit darker. And then this here. I'm going to use some of my darker gray. I'm going to have to fill that in with more of a darker gray. But we're going to go over this lighter, and then let's go a little bit shade lighter than this one. Go with this. Maybe just a little bit too light. Let's go back. That looks about right. This has to be shadowed in more. So we're gonna go and we're gonna try and fill this in just a little bit more of a darker tone. That looks about right. really kind of wishing that was a little bit lighter, so I'm going to take my white, just kind of loop that in. Go. And I'm just kind of layering in, just putting in some more of this black in here. Make this just a tad bit darker. Then we'll leave it. So as you can tell, it's starting to look a little bit more of a metallic, like a metal, but we still got more to do with it. We are working kind of tiny here. Take some of this. There we go, like that. This is going to be super dark underneath of it. Let's use this light gray. This will end up popping out once I add the dark behind it, like underneath here where it's like almost black. So it'll make this stand out more, which we could end up doing. Let's start off with a dark gray, or at least a Payne's gray, and just kind of outline that so we can kind of see what we're working with here. This. Make this a little thicker. That way you can kind of see that bow standing out just a little bit there. And then we're going to take our white, make that a little bit brighter. Right through there. But you see, if your pencil's not sticking that well, you could always, like, we can do this. Let's do this. Oh, got to make sure you shake this, by the way. What type of color pencils are you using? I am using for these little metals for the bows. I'm using polychromos, except for the black. I'm using actually the midnight black, but they're polychromos. I've got a Payne's gray, and then the rest of them I pulled out are just the warm, or not warm grays, they're cold grays. I usually use cold grays for anything that is like more metal. And if I'm dealing with, let's just say, more of a gray tones for like animals, then I like to go with the warm grays, because the warm grays have more of a touch of brown in them. So, but yeah, they're polychromos, with the exception of the these two pencils, which is Derwent Lightfast Midnight Black and the Derwent Drawing Chinese White. Those are the only other two. Let's go ahead and use this. This is the, just in case you joined in late, this is the colored pencil touch-up texture from Brush and Pencil that I'm going to be using. I took this one out because this one here, I got fidgety and I ripped off the label, but it's the same stuff. Just one is new and the other one I couldn't resist and ripped off the label. So now that we shook this up, I'm going to add this to places that I want a nice super bright highlight to. Like I want a bright highlight in there, and then also like a little bit in here. And you can add like a touch. Let's do a touch in there. Ooh, and I see some other places. Let's do maybe a touch in there. There. So I will just let that, actually, might as well, since we're having fun with this stuff, let's go ahead and add, I know my highlight should be in here, but I'm going to add a touch of highlight in here. There. And so I'll just let that dry, and then I should be able to go on top of it, and it'll be able to add a bright highlight, because I was trying to add a bright highlight before and it wasn't coming out as bright white like I was hoping. So we will make that change. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and start on this. And we are going to make this like more of a lighter color. I think pretty much the most part in here. Oh goodness, somebody's got big speakers in their vehicle. Let's try and make that. Just doing an outline. Okay, and then what about, let's see here. Puppy was in lots of pain. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, poor puppy. Okay, and then what about the rest? Wax-based, oil-based, or water-based? Okay. I wouldn't say any of the pencils are water-based. As far as wax-based and oil-based, I know that you'll see ads on the polychromos as being an oil-based pencil, but in all reality, they all are oil and wax-based. They're just a certain percentage maybe has a little bit more oil or a little bit more wax than some other ones, but they both consist of both having, all pencils usually have wax and oil mixture in them. But these are, I would say they go as more toward the oil-based pencil, and they are a much harder lead. So with having a harder lead like the polychromos, you're able to sharpen them to a much sharper point than some of the softer leads, and you're able to get into really fine details. So if you're working with something that's this tiny, you're able to get into those tiny parts because you're able to sharpen them to a point without it breaking. So that's what makes these super, super nice, is being able to work with tiny details and without breaking your lead, because it's a much harder lead being an oil-based, more oil-based pencil. Now the Derwent Lightfast pencil is more of a softer type of pencil. It's not quite as soft as the Derwent drawing pencil, but I would say as far as like oil-based, wax-based, I mean, I would say it would be still leaning toward more, maybe more of a waxy base, because it's not going to leave like a waxy, like really bad residue on your paper. I don't really see that too much with any of these. So, but it's a perfect mixture of both, wax based and oil based. But these are the softer leads. So Derwent Lightfast is a softer lead. Derwent Drawing is a much softer lead. So you're not able to get as sharp as a point as you would with the polychromos without it breaking, or like a Caran d'Ache Luminance that is, you can get to a sharper point, but that's the reason why I like my Caran d'Ache Luminance set, is because you can kind of have both worlds there, where you can still work with a finer detail with the luminance, but yet still have a nice consistency to where it blends still easily. So if you're wanting a happy medium, like with me, sometimes if I just want that one set of pencils, I really like the Caran d'Ache Luminance. I know they are a little bit pricier, but they are super nice because they work for both worlds. You can blend them really, really nicely, and you definitely can get some really fine details with them also. The polymer sounds like my type of pencil. Yeah, the polychromos. Yeah, if you like working in details and you're not wanting your lead to break like instantly, then yeah, these are really nice to have. The blendability on them, they're still blendable and you can blend them with odorless mineral spirits. You just gotta work it a little bit more um, I was polymer. I know. I was like, polymer. I knew what you meant though. That's what counts. I knew what you meant. So I was like, I never worked with that before. But yeah, as long as you work with smaller circles or just work in smaller areas, don't do like with the light fast, you can go in much bigger circles and it'll still blend really easily. These, you just got to make sure you work a little bit smaller circles, but you can still blend with them. I mean, shouldn't be no problem there. Let me pick out another color. I don't want to go too, this is a little bit darker than the other. So we are going to go in here. Just going to draw these lines in. If I need to darken them, I will. But just for starters, okay. Now let me get the drawing here. Or the Chinese. Or not the Chinese. Why am I saying Chinese white? The light fast. I'm getting confused now. It's like, what pencil am I holding? That is a question. Okay, I wanna, it's got a little bit of a shadow going on. So we're just gonna stick that in there. Okay. It's almost like those kind of disappeared or made it kind of go out. Make this a little bit darker. Okay, let's take some of this lighter color. I'm gonna have to make sure we still get a darker line around this. Okay, let's stick some of this black in here. And I'm going to stick some of this black in and around for like kind of like an in-depth shadow here that runs in with this line. Okay, that looks pretty good. Still want to stick with these mid-tones. Let's see here. Awesome. Thank you for breaking down the pencils. You're the first person to give such detail into similarity and differences. Oh, no problem. I know it definitely helps because I've had the same questions. I mean, I have when I first started out, like even with color pencils or if I was working with them, I had those same questions and I would have to like research or study and try and figure it out. And, I understand. I mean, it would be so much easier whenever you find somebody who can kind of break those down for you instead of having to see, like, try and find the answers. It's really kind of difficult. But I understand completely, completely. I was like, anything to make it easier, that's what definitely helps. Anything I could do to help. I mean, heck, there was so many times that I would like struggle on something or I didn't understand what I was doing. Like, there was even times it's like, I forgot what it was that I was doing. And I was struggling, like trying to figure it out. And I finally did. Like, I know between the color pencils, like doing which ones are, what was it? Not the light fast stuff. Because that I started learning later too. Um, But like, I didn't know if there was like a certain type of pencil that I was supposed to lay down first and then go on top with maybe a different pencil that I needed. I didn't know that layering process. And that usually took me like that was definitely something that I guess took me a little bit to understand like the layering process, but once I understood the layering process was how to fix your mistakes because I would make mistakes and didn't know how to correct them. So then I thought, okay, that's it. Or I'd get to a certain point and be like, it still doesn't look right. And then I would just kind of give up. But when I figured out that I can basically um, fix my mistakes and learn how to correct my mistakes or be able to see it in a stage that looks really, really bad and think to myself, it's okay. It's supposed to look that way. I'm not done yet. Whenever you get done, then you just got to keep working on it more. Don't give up. I mean, it may look bad right now, but just don't give up because it'll look better. You just got to add more layers to it. And once I started figuring out some of these things, I was like, okay, I think I can run with this. Let me add just a couple more things in here. Let's add. I'd really like to stick a white highlight. I don't know if those are dry yet. Is it? Yep, it's dry. Exactly. Especially when depending on what you're researching, so many things can pop up. So I learning from people like interest. Oh, yes, definitely. I completely understand. Heck, there was one time, oh, that's what it was. I was trying to learn about odorless mineral spirits. Like I for some reason could not get like I didn't understand it. Like odorless mineral spirits. I was like, what should I get? And I even went to the hardware store trying to look for it and try and use it. Let's just say it was horrible. Don't do that. And so I was like, I literally took the stuff back. It was so strong, and it was like trying to get like some sort of thinner, paint thinner, for my oil painting, like oil painting paint thinner, and it was so horrible. I literally took that back. I kept the receipt, same day, took it back. I was like, nope, not doing this. And then I was like trying to look at different people on how they blend their color pencils. So I went to that point. And besides my oil painting, which I ended up getting like Bob Ross's like paint thinner stuff, and I'll tell you what, that stuff is like strong. Like I literally thought I was gonna like keel over. It was so strong, turpentine. Okay, so I did that, and then I finally was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna, stop painting with the oil painting. So then I tried to look for something else. Like they always said OMS, and I'm like, what is OMS? And then they said it was odorless mineral spirits. I was like, okay, where am I gonna find odorless mineral spirits? Then I looked online and it said one person was like, just use baby oil to dissolve your pencils and it makes it blend just like that. And I thought, oh great, I'll just take baby oil. No, do not do that. Like, it was horrible. Like, sure, after scrubbing on this stuff forever, I finally got it to blend, but then it left a oil mark on my paper that just like never dried. So then it was horrible. Like the outer makeup where I look crazy before I look flawless. Yes, you did that without a mask. Oh yeah. And oh, top that off. Probably the reason what's wrong with me. I don't know. And without a mask, and I was actually driving in the truck in my truck. So I had to roll down a window and I was in the truck painting and I had this little thing where I could stick it on the steering wheel and stick my painting up there where I can learn how to oil paint. Yeah, you talking about yeah, I don't know why I'm still here today, but I am. Obviously, I'm still alive today. But yeah, that was horrible. Things to not do. And baby oil, no, no baby oil. The hacks stay too long. It's too about using what's made for. Yeah. So I use the and I did get was it somebody said that they use the Mona Lisa odorless mineral spirits. And they said, well, because it's almost scentless. I ended up getting that same thing. I got the what is it called? The Mona Lisa odorless mineral spirits. I can still it still had a smell to it. I mean, I know you're not supposed to put it up your nose and like smell, but knowing me, I can still smell it. And so I was like, it still has a smell. So then I ended up getting the Gamsol odorless mineral spirits, and that doesn't have a smell. It does not smell. Like there's no like I can't smell it. It just seems like I have oil in a cup. So I mean, it's odorless mineral spirits by Gamsol by Gamblin. Super super nice. Doesn't have a smell. And the other thing is it's supposed to be more and more, I guess, better than most, should I say? But supposedly it's supposed to be like better for the environment or environmentally better. So I was like, well, there we go. I got a 2 for 1 there. I mean, not only does it not really smell, but it's actually better for the environment too. So blessed. Yeah. Aw. Let me try and add a little bit of highlight to this and this area here. There we go. This didn't come out very good of a highlight. That's because we didn't put any of the touch-up texture on it. We put it right there. We put it right here. But, oh, and on my little, almost forgot this little one. There we go. See, just like that, it adds a highlight to it. So if you want a highlight to it and it's just not taking, then just stick some of this on there. Love this stuff. There. Once that dries, I can put my highlight of my white pencil on those areas. So the bow is actually taking me a little bit longer than normal. I know it's still 8:30. I should be able to get the bow done. We might be able to work on another star. We can do one of the little silver little rivets here. These are all like circles or triangles of the little rivets. And this one here is like a big flower. It's kind of the same color as a bow, but it's got like these little pink jewels around it and a little jewel right there. So what we could do is next week I will have the bow. If I mean we might get done with the bow today, but I will have all these little pendants here since you already see me do one and we worked on the bow. I'll end up doing all these little pendants here, which are just similar to this one. We'll do all those. And then next week we will work on this star, or this flower, because seriously, this flower looks like that. So we're going to have to work on something that looks similar to this. And this picture here is not like a reference photo I got from something. This is definitely one that I took myself. But that is going to be this little flower here. So I think since that one's going to be more of a challenge to do, we're going to go ahead and do that on the next live stream. And if we get done with the flower, we'll just move on to the next, because we'll be working with gold. And that would be really nice to do the flower as being more of a challenging pendant, and then doing like gold, which we're not going to use gold pencils. We want to stay away from those metallics and those gold pencils, and just use regular pencils, like using our ochres and not going directly to gold. Just like silver. We're making this look like it's silver, even though it's not actually like using just a silver pencil. Let's see here. People say water tastes the same. No, water tastes different. Tap, bottle, the level of purity, the different brands, it all tastes different to me. You know what? Now that you just said that, last night our water went out, and my son was telling me, he's like, Mom, he goes, we ain't got no water, like our water's not on. And I was like, what? And then of course he's like, did you pay the bill? I'm like, yeah, the bill has been paid. No, you don't worry about that. Did you pay the bill? Well, no, did you? And I said, yes. He goes, well, the water went low and now it's off. And it was like at midnight. I mean, I was up late. So I ended up looking at our city, you know, how they put up like little things for your town to let you know when things are going on. And on there was a bunch of neighbors, I guess, all up at the same time I am. And they're all putting, water's going low, what's the deal? And then their water went out. Well, come to find out, our water tower, they ended up turning it off and switching it to a different water tower because they wanted to paint the other water tower. And somebody made a comment saying, what are they doing, painting the inside of the tower? Like, why do you have to switch water towers to paint the outside of a water tower? I mean, you're not painting the inside. So I guess that's the reason why our water went off. Well, then after that, it was like all day. I don't really pay attention to Facebook, like for the town. And I looked on there like hours later. It was like the evening. And it said that we were underneath a boil your water alert. Like, you're supposed to boil your water. And I was like, holy crap, that was like said like 14 hours ago. I was like, or 17 hours ago. I was like, a little bit too late. And so then I looked at the comments and people were like, I think it's a little too late. I just read it right now and I've been drinking the water all day long. It's just like, and I put, me too. I think we're all gonna go. So I'm like, and so then I just been making fun of it because I've been telling my daughter and my son, I'm like, I feel sick. And they're like, you're not sick. I said, yes, I'm sick. And they're like, no, you're not sick. I said, I drank dirty water. I'm sick. So hopefully nothing happens to me, but I don't know. I drank it. Obviously, I'm not killed over yet, but that was super nice to have a boil your water thing and not know about it and been drinking the water the whole entire day. Wow. I know that's how I felt too. I was like, could have known a little bit sooner. A little bit sooner would have been nice. I mean, not everybody's gonna look at Facebook for like stuff like that. I mean, you would figure that maybe they put a note on your door, maybe like, put a flyer up like in people's doors, like letting them know. Because I know that there's probably even elderly people that don't have Facebook. So It's like, how would they know? I mean, no one would know. I mean, hell, I didn't know till later. Obviously, I'm pretty stout. I can probably take anything. It's like, I don't know. Probably end up start growing like a third leg or something. I don't know. Be like, oh look, I got another arm. It's okay. It's just from the water. Bad water. Oh, let's see here. So I got this bow. Looks like I kind of didn't draw it in accurately here. Let me try and erase this. I'll try and correct it. Sometimes when I draw things in, I don't really draw them the way I should. So I have to come in here and do some adjusting. That's what I'm going to do here. Just going to draw it in with my pencil though. Let me erase. I may have to sharpen that. I'm going to try and erase some of this edge right on top just so that way I can maybe put a little bit more of a lighter tone. There, that looks better. And then we got this darker area here. Which kind of comes out. This light is really kind of wonky. Let's go ahead and doesn't really need a light edge on this. A little bit of a lighter edge on here, so we'll go ahead and stick just a little bit there. This will probably be a little bit darker. Okay, let's pick up a darker pencil. And I know I have this pretty dark, but it will end up having to be a whole lot darker in this area. Okay, let's go through. Let's see here. Like a two-headed frog or something. Hey, I could be a two-headed turtle. Oh my god, you're cracking me up. Oh my lord. That too. I don't know. With my hair, it could be a two-headed poodle. It's like, are you not poodly enough for the poodle club? Just drink my water. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Just drawing in these lines. If I need to make them darker, I will. Yeah, I definitely boiled my water after that. My kids are just like, I don't know. They're a little bit like me. We're just silly. I told them, I said, do not be drinking the water. And of course, my son's just like, why not? And then my daughter's like, it's okay. I'll drink it anyway. I'm like, no, you're not. I was like, well, I don't know what's wrong with it. I was like, it looked a little murky to me, but no, I didn't put two and two together. And then my daughter's like, I don't care. I'm like, well, I do. Not be drinking no dirty water. And then my son's like, what about ice cubes? I'm like, yep, they even said ice cubes are bad, so do not even have the ice cubes. He goes, well, I'm not gone yet. Might as well, I'll still have them. I'm like, no, you're not. He's a teenager, so He is a teen. And they are ornery. Ornery teens. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put, I want to put this a little bit lighter. We are going to have to darken it, but I just want to start out with more of a lighter tone. And then we'll just get darker as we go. Well, actually, let's go to a black. Let's get a dark. I think I already went. Let's put some of this in here. It does have a little bit of a shadow going on here, so I really like to use that for my advantage here. Come from the dark, from the shadows there. Okay. If I need to darken any more, I'm going to use this gray. Just kind of slightly darken some of that. A little bit more. Maybe in there. Definitely in there. Let's make that a little bit darker. Let's go even darker. That was a dark gray. It's like a darker gray. But I want to go slightly darker in here. And maybe even... Okay. Anything can happen, little turtle. That is really cute. I don't see Stella out. Stella. No. I figured that she would at least say hi before we got off. Maybe she might come out. Okay, that should be dry by now. It is. So we're going to stick a couple little highlights in here. Look how much whiter that was. Look at that. Love that stuff. You can add your highlights back in. The frog fire is purified, right? Oh, the fridge. I don't know why I said frog. I said about the frog water. The fridge water is purified, right? Yeah, but so it should be good. How dirty is water? Let's just still using the ice. Boil alert. Damn, I don't remember. No. Okay. So the way I figure it is that somebody else said, well, I use a Brita filter and should that be okay or does that not work? And so somebody ended up, of course, posting a how to boil your water, what water is good, what water isn't whenever there's a boil your water like alert. And it said that basically filters, I guess, don't work. So even if your fridge has ice cubes and the filters in there, that is still not going to work. You would literally have to boil your water. And so it said, do not eat the ice cubes. And I'm like, you know, the timing of it, if my ice cubes were actually full before the dirty water froze the ice cubes and then put on top, we could be safe. Don't know, but not take a chance and just whenever after the boil thing is done and over with, I'll just empty out all the ice out of the fridge. And then it said, what else was it? So it was like fridge water, or if you're trying to do the Brita thing, or filters, they don't work, boil your water for like 5 minutes. And only use try to use the top portion of the water and not like a quarter of an inch of the below, because the sediments, I guess, sink to the bottom when it cools down. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of things to remember, and I'm like over there trying to study and learn on it because I mean, I know people don't want to don't admit your age. You know what? I'm almost 40, okay? And I have never had a boil your water thing happen. And I've never had one. I've never had any issues to where it's boil your water. So I'm kind of new to it all. I don't know. And yeah, so I had to do some studying and learning today. I think it was using our ice. Oh no. Yeah, it said don't use the ice because it won't filter it out and then it freezes it. So if there is germs in it, it like freezes the germs and then when they unthaw, they're like, hey, we're alive and swimming around. Yes, Derby settles at the bottom, huh? See, I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been, like I said, I've never been in a boil water place. Like I used to see it on the news for people and I'm like, "Oh, wow, they got a boil water thing." But I've never been in the boil water like thing. I've never done it. So it's like I'm clueless over here. But yeah, I had to do some learning. Doing some learning. So I never knew. Yeah, and let's just kind of supposed to take and go up. Take some of that out. Okay. Let's get some of these darker, I don't know, let's use, I don't go completely dark, but let's try and get these little lines in. Let's get some of these dark ones. Let's go like that. Let's get right around these edges and kind of go into these little grooved areas. This one doesn't really have a dark line. I don't really like how thick that is though. Readjust that just a little bit. Okay, let's use a lighter color. Trying to adjust this line. That little lip here is supposed to be a little bit smaller. So we're kind of minimizing that. Mm. Let's try and make this a little bit darker. Put some of these black lines in here. Okay. Let's put this a little bit darker in there. Okay, now let's take some of our, right here, this cold gray. We're just going to go back and forth. I like to start out a little bit lighter. I don't like to move directly to the darkest gray tones. Let me get this on top. And then this here kind of loops, but also this little there. And then just kind of making these lines in here. And it still needs to be a little bit darker, it looks like. like these little lines in between. Okay. Let's see here. That looks a little bit too light. Let's try and go with a little bit more of a darker gray. I mean, not really darker. It's still one of my lighter grays. It's just a little bit darker than that light gray. I hear something moving back there, so I really think that my little Stella might be awake. All right, so I really do like that. I'm gonna put a little bit of this touch-up texture so that way I can add some white to the edges, just a little hints, maybe right in there. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to do. And then that should be done. Now, this will have a little bit of a shadow to it, so I may have to come back in here and just add some shadow right in here just to make it a little bit darker, and that'll make it look like it's got more of like a depth look to it. Let's see here. I've been dealing with the residual effects from an old accident where I took on head trauma. So if you notice misspelling or something not looking right, please let me know. Oh no, you're perfectly fine. Aw. It'll be all right. Like heck, I can't even say stuff. Like I have problems, but like speech, like for some reason, like I have trouble sometimes, but I'm so sorry for that, and I can completely understand. Like I think you're doing great. I mean, you're doing much better than me. Like I have trouble spelling that I keep on saying that I need to read more. Maybe that might help me. But mine is just because of, yeah, I'd probably need to read more. Um, I hear somebody up, so I'm gonna go check if you guys want to see Stella. Maybe I'll bring her out. I think she might be awake. Yeah, she's staring at me. She's my little hippo. So let me go get her. She'd love to see you guys. But it'll only be just like really quick because so that way she doesn't want to get down and play because I don't have the door shut and everything, so she can't really play. Hey Stella, you want to say hi? Want to say hi to everybody? Want to say hi to everybody? Stella, give me baby. Hey baby. Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Well, let's see how I'm supposed to do this. Nope, don't fall. Hold on. Go this way. Don't get everything dirty. Here's little Stella. She didn't like that paper. Don't fall, baby. Hi, dude. Come on, this way. Come here. Go this way. She's like, where am I at? I'm like on top of your table. So there's little Stella. Oh, it's crinkly. All right. Say bye. Say bye. You want a little hippo? Being a good little hippo? All right. Just so that way she doesn't get scared and want to run off. She wants to go play. And she likes to eat like little, I give her a little treat. I'm gonna give her a little bit of blueberries, just a couple little blueberries. And there we go. All right, Bella. So yeah, that's little Stella. I always call her my little hippo. And yep, she was on the purse. She was wanting to get down really bad. She usually, I close the door and let her play, so she'll come in here and just play in the studio, and then she'll run in and out of the store. Over here, it's like a bathroom, and so I close everything off and put like these little blocks so that way she can't get into certain areas. But she goes in and out of the studio all the time. I always watch her, so she knows it's getting closer to playtime. So she's getting excited for that. But anyways, yep, we are about time to, I guess, wrap it up for the night. It has been a blast. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with you guys. Um, so like for next week, like I was saying, I will just get the rest of these little pendants in. Um, I will have to add some shadow underneath the bow, and possibly maybe some of these little rivets here might need to get a little bit darker in the shadows, especially this bigger one I'm more concerned with because it's such a big pendant. It needs to have a little bit more shadow to it. So if I create some shadow on the actual purse itself with this pendant will pop out and give it a little bit more of a three-dimensional look. But yeah, next week we'll work on the pendant here with the stones and the flower, and then we'll continue on doing like some of these gold type of things that's on here. So anyways, oh, it's been so much fun, and I hope you have a good rest of the week, and we will try and figure out too if I'm going to do that soft pastel. So we will see. I don't know. I'm still debating about it. There's so many things that I got in my mind. I don't know which one to do. So I guess yeah, that wraps it up. And iced tea, if you're still there, just hope your little puppy gets to feeling better. I mean, that is super, super sad. I hate to see little pets like not feeling very good. And we'll stay safe over here. We'll try not to drink the water, you know. And I think there's a saying that says that don't drink the water or don't drink the, yeah, yeah, I think that is like don't drink the water. So I'll try not to drink the water around here, at least not anymore. So I guess until next time, bye you guys, and thank you so much for joining.